Billionaire businessman Aliko Dangote has come a long way. From humble beginnings as a trader, he's now rated as Black Africa's richest man, with a business empire with interest in sugar refining, flour milling, salt processing, textiles, real estate, and oil and gas. But cement manufacturing is clearly his most recognized investment in Nigeria.
In a few months, Dangote's domestic production capacity will go from 8 million metric tons of capacity to 20 million metric tons, with the introduction of a big new plant in Iwese, just 40 kilometers out of Lagos, Obajana doubling from 5 to 10, and Wole going from 3 to 4 million metric tons. At that point, they will have 20 million metric tons of capacity and still have the 6 million capacity in terms of the import terminals, which could probably be reversed once there's enough demand locally to start exporting cement across Africa.
Dangote Cement's Obajana factory is the largest in sub-Saharan Africa with a production capacity of 5 million metric tons per annum. And following the merger with Benue Cement that precedes the listing, its production capacity is projected to rise to 20 million metric tons by 2012. In addition, the company maintains several terminals with a capacity to bag 6 million metric tons of cement annually. This raises the company's production capacity by early 2012 to 26 million metric tons per annum. And that's not all.
With the harmonization of ownership between Obajana and BCC into Dangote Cement PLC, now it allows the main parent, Dangote Industries, to begin to now throw in all its disparate cement assets across West Africa into Dangote Cement, giving it the platform it will need by the time it's ready to go and do the international listing it's planning.
The consensus among analysts is that Nigeria's cement sector is an attractive play on the infrastructure deficit in Africa, as well as the changing dynamics forecast in the medium term, which should see local production replacing imports.
I think the biggest case for Nigeria is that today Nigeria probably records the highest price per ton in terms of cement. We're at $180 per ton. China is about $40 per ton. Most of the developed world around $70, $60 per ton. At the same time, we have the highest price, but the lowest supply. Nigeria's cement consumption per capita is way below even Ghana, where I think at 105 kilogram per capita. Ghana is at 136. Countries like South Africa about 250, 300 kilograms per ton. Given what the government is trying to do in terms of building up on infrastructure in Nigeria, it clearly makes a lot of sense. As soon as those investments start coming on stream, you'd expect to see more demand for cement. We're facing a severe housing shortage for the 150 million Nigerians. That has to be corrected, and that will all spur more demand for.
The listing of Dangote Cement at 135 naira per share values the company at 2.1 trillion naira, or just under $14 billion. The company offered 100 million shares today, as it seeks to comply with the NSE's listing requirements that require companies to provide at least 25% of shares issued to investors on listing. The listing has clearly generated excitement in the investment community, as it is viewed as a potential catalyst that could support the fragile recovery of the NSE. Some analysts, however, are less bullish.
While they will improve and they'll do better, they have capacity, they're growing, they have new different factories across the country, given the projections they have, and giving prices on the ground is still pretty optimistic. And at the end of the day, a company's value is tied to how many shares they have and what they're able to make in net profit relative to those shares. And Dangote Cement is pretty expensive given what we're planning to do in the next 1 year or 2 years.
The one major thing that gives me cause for concern is sort of the bullish assumptions they put particularly into capacity utilization on these plants. So the 135 naira per share target implies two very strong assumptions. One is that plants like Ibesha would come on ground as planned, and the second is that the capacity utilization in these plants will be a lot better than what we've seen historically.
While there may be doubts about the valuation of the company, the consensus is that Dangote Cement is the dominant cement player in Nigeria, well positioned to capture the growth potential of sub-Saharan Africa's second largest economy.